of us, millions of Americans, or millions more have enrolled in the Affordable Care Act, saving an additional $800 a year for better coverage at better prices. My budget's going to make those savings permanent. We've passed them up till now, but they'll expire if I don't get them done again. My MAGA Republicans all voted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. They voted to get rid of it over 50 times since Barack passed it. Over 50 times. Well, it is. I think it is shameful. Folks, no one can deny we have a climate crisis. So we've seen more land, for example. I've been in more helicopter rides these last 2 years, particularly from Arizona all the way up to Idaho, all the way in the West Coast. More forests have burned to the ground than the entire state of Maryland, the entire size of the state of Maryland. Look what's happening. The Colorado River has become a creek. You have all these environmental problems that are so profound, they're hard to deny. And people are seeing them now, along with extreme superstorms and droughts. That's why I took the most aggressive action ever in all of history in any country to take on the climate crisis by lowering your home energy bills, which MAGA Republicans voted against. We've now gotten to the point where it's cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and or fossil fuels. And I'm from Scranton. Okay, I'm not against coal per se. A lot of people made a living on that way. But we're providing incentives for folks to make the transition. So here's what we're doing. We're providing you with a tax credit and rebates if you're buying new energy-efficient appliances. Heat pumps, the new heat pumps, they can heat the whole damn house. No, I'm serious, not a joke. Well, if you need a heater and you need to buy one of those heat pumps, you get a tax credit for doing it. And water heaters, tax credit to weatherize your homes with better windows and doors. I gathered together leaders from American Auto Workers in the South Lawn of the White House, all American manufacturers. And it was 2 years, a year and a half, well, 2 summers ago. And guess what? They all agreed within the next month. They came to me and said, we're going to go all electric. We're going to go all electric. And that's going to save billions of gallons of gasoline burning into the air. It's not only going to save the environment, it's going to help create really good paying jobs. We're providing tax credits for folks who buy electric vehicles to encourage them to do it. We're still going to need combustion engines. We're going to still need oil for the next 10 to 15 years, because all of a sudden they're not all going to go away. But all this is going to lower energy costs for families on an average of $1,000 a year and create good paying union jobs. Oh. Jimmy, I told you I was going to be the most pro-union president in history. I've kept my promise. I've kept my promise. And by the way, when we're talking about the creating jobs, my buddies at the IBEW were the strongest support I had this year. Well, guess what? They're going to install 500,000 charging stations all across America. And by the way, the things I'm proposing not only lift the burden off of families in America, it's also going to generate economic growth. And that's not all. To support working parents, my budget expands access to affordable child care for millions of families. And it's going to invest in paid family and medical leave, which all of you fought like hell for, so that the U.S. is no longer the only major economy in the world that doesn't have paid leave. Folks, my budget also invests in elder care and home care. How many of you are like I went through with my mom and my dad as they got older? They wanted to stay in their own home. It was cheaper to stay in their own home than to have to sell everything and have everything on to go into a home. Well, fortunately, I lived close enough and they could move in with me. But my point is, it's cheaper if we in fact provide for the ability for them to stay in their homes. It's not only the right thing to do, but it's cheaper on the taxpayer. All the things are going to help folks go to work, generate economic growth in our nation, and still take care of their families. The point is that every time I talk about things, people talk about it like this is an overwhelming burden.